Hello, you guys. 2WO96 back with another video here related to Cartoon Network. And I'm going to be honest, I thought I wasn't going to have to do this, but here we are. We got another big topic we got to talk about today. And honestly, I'll be honest, y'all, when I heard this news about 5 days ago, now, granted, I'm very late on this topic. It's already been almost a week since this has been announced, but if you all haven't already heard the news, well, Cartoon Network is losing yet another hour of airtime. And of course, this month, the start of this month, it lost the 7 o'clock hour. So now Adult Swim starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means for Central and Mountain, I believe, is earlier than that. And then Pacific Time, it's the same. I think Pacific, for them, it's still at 7 p.m. I'm not 100% sure how it is in the other time zones, but I know Eastern Time Zone, it starts at 7 o'clock now. Almost a week ago, it was announced by Warner Bros. Discovery, Adult Swim is now going to gain 6 o'clock hour. So at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Adult Swim is going to be starting. And for those who already don't know, a lot of Cartoon Network's most recent series have been moving on to Adult Swim lately here. Now, I haven't kept up with the network in years at this point, but from what I've heard, I know a lot of their new series have been moved to Adult Swim and so forth. So I'm going to read this article real quick and you'll get an idea of what's been going on with the network, with its viewership and everything. So Adult Swim is moving to 6 p.m. as kids stop watching cable TV. This was published by Luke Boma on May 17th, 2023. So today, Warner Bros. Discovery has announced that they will move Adult Swim up to 6 p.m. This announcement was made during the Warner Bros. Discovery Upfront event, talking to the press and advertisers. This comes as increasingly kids have stopped watching cable TV and are now watching YouTube and other services. Obviously, Disney Plus, YouTube TV, Paramount Plus, Netflix, HBO Max, Fubo, you name it. All the streaming services have obviously taken over the last several years now. I mean, we've known that cable has been dying out for the last several years anyway. But as I continue this article, this comes as just recently Adult Swim expanded to start at 7 p.m., which I just mentioned. Now it seems that is going so well, they want to expand again to 6 p.m. Cartoon Network, which advertises itself as targeting a core audience of boys and girls aged 6 to 12. Now, though, most of its viewers are over the age of 18, with 75% of its viewers are now over the age of 18 and 43% over the age of 30, according to statistics. Because of this, it seems that Warner Bros. Discovery wants to use Adult Swim to help drive up its viewership earlier by moving it up to 6 p.m. It has even been reported that in 2022, during the hours of 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., 68% of Cartoon Network's audience was over the age of 18. This time block has traditionally been big, with school-age kids looking to watch TV before bed. Increasing, the next generation of possible cable TV subscribers are now on streaming. Kids are watching YouTube Kids instead of Cartoon Network, and older kids are watching Paramount Plus or Disney Plus. Moving up Adult Swim earlier also helps attract advertisers. This brings in more of the content that targets what advertisers want viewers aged to 34 on average. Well, that has changed some. The prime advertising dollars have often been spent on programming being watched by 18 to 34-year-olds. No date has been announced for when Adult Swim will move up to 6 p.m. at this time. Apparently, it's going to be in September of this year, fall this year, or September of this year, but sometime in the fall. It was also announced that American Dad will help be a lead for this newly expanded Adult Swim block. We will have to wait to see the full Adult Swim schedule once it is expanded. So that was the article, and I want to give my brief thoughts on this. And I'm just going to be honest. I've been watching a lot of other videos on Adult Swim expanding, and I fully understand the reasons Adult Swim is expanding to 6 p.m. now. It's already been expanded to 7 p.m., but it started at 6 p.m. now because, kids aren't really watching cable anymore. And that's understandable, honestly. But if we're going to be honest here, you all, this is nothing new. Adult Swim expanding extra hours is nothing new at all. And, I'm surprised I haven't heard a lot of people say this. And I know it's been 9 years since the last time Adult Swim expanded. 2014 is when it moved from 9 p.m. to 8 p.m. But if you got to go back to 20 years ago, 2003, during the early days of Adult Swim. Since then, Adult Swim has always been expanding extra hours and extra days. It went from 2 times a week in 2001 and 2002 to 5 times a week in 2003 to 6 times a week in 2004 to 7 times a week in 2007, like it still is to this day. And the end time for Adult Swim was originally 2 a.m. back in the day, and then it became 5 a.m., and now the end time has been 6 a.m. And the start time was originally 10 p.m. and 11 p.m., and then for a while it was just 11 p.m. Then the start time moved to 10:30 p.m., and then the start time moved to 10 p.m., then the start time moved to 9 p.m., then 8 p.m. like 9 years ago. And guess what happened this month? It took 9 years, but now the start time for Adult Swim is 7 p.m. and it's about to be 6 p.m. This is nothing new at all. And in my opinion, even though Cartoon Network the main network has always had excellent shows over the years and decades, in my opinion, what has been a big contributor to Cartoon Network's decline over the years has been Adult Swim taking over the schedule. Even if it's at night when kids are usually asleep, so be it. I think Cartoon Network was at its best when most of the days were 24 hours, honestly. And that was it hasn't been since 2000. 2007 was the last time Cartoon Network had at least one day that went 24 hours. That was only on Fridays. But hell, I'd take 2003 when you had Fridays and Saturday nights 24 hours, or even 2002 or 2001 when you had 5 days a week. Cartoon Network was 24 hours, honestly. And that's just me, and that's just my personal opinion on this, because I feel like what made Cartoon Network so great back in the early 2000s and the late 90s is when there was no Adult Swim or little to no Adult Swim, is they had all the cartoons on the network that appealed to all audiences, and it wasn't too adult like, but it was also not too kiddie at the same time. It was like a perfect balance where they had everything on, all this variety that appealed to, that was more of a general audience. It was like families could enjoy it and everything. But then when Adult Swim came out, then they were like, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to have Adult Swim specifically for adult content, and then Cartoon Network is strictly going to be just kid content. That's what they started doing gradually over the years. Now, don't get me wrong. Even by the time Adult Swim was already 6 nights a week or 7 nights a week, Cartoon Network has had its excellent shows. All I'm saying is that I believe Adult Swim taking over Cartoon Network's schedule gradually the past 20 years has been a huge contributor to Cartoon Network's downfall. And look where we are now, 2023. 12 hours of Cartoon Network and 12 hours of Adult Swim. And I'm not surprised. This was going to happen eventually, folks. So real quick, I want to go to the Wikipedia page and talk about the history of Adult Swim taking over Cartoon Network. And when it launched in 2001, when it launched in September 2001, this was back in the peak of the Powerhouse era. when it launched in 2001, Adult Swim was originally Sunday nights and Thursday nights from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. That was perfect, honestly, because you only had 10, 11, 12, 1. Only 3 hours. Now, obviously, kids had to leave the station by 10 p.m., but it was only 2 times a week. And honestly, Sunday, kids would go to school the next day. So, I mean, what's the big deal? So, and then Thursday nights, that was just the extra day with repeat. But in 2001, when Adult Swim first launched, it lasted from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So then in February 2002, Adult Swim took off the Thursday night slot, and then according to here, it says February 23rd, 2002. So in February 2002, Adult Swim started its anime block Saturday nights. It maintained the Sunday night slot, but the Thursday night slot was taken off. So Sunday nights was 10 a.m. was still 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. And then Saturday nights was 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. So it still lasted 3 hours 2 times a week. But it's just Sundays was from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. and then Saturdays was from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. And guess what? The other 5 days, you had Cartoon Network 24/7 to yourself. Honestly, this was perfect in my opinion. And before I get back to the history, I want to say this real quick. I never understood the purpose of Adult Swim expanding its hours, because the earlier hours of Adult Swim over the years, and this is not just now, but years past, even before Adult Swim got pushed to 9 p.m. or 8 p.m., most of the early Adult Swim hours has been Fox cartoon reruns that could be seen on other networks. So the main Adult Swim content doesn't really start till 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. So I never understood the point of expanding Adult Swim's hours, even in years past. But anyways, back to the history of Adult Swim taking over Cartoon Network. So then you get to 2003. January 13th, 2003. Adult Swim began airing 5 nights a week. So 5 nights a week. So this was Sunday through Thursday from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. So by 2003, it was no longer starting at 10 p.m. for a while. Well, it was 10 p.m. In 2002, it was 10 p.m. one time, and then it was 11 p.m. the other time. But in 2003, 5 nights a week, it was from 11 p.m. until 2 a.m. And as you can see, Adult Swim was on Sundays through Thursdays. And in my opinion, that was great, because now you had Adult Swim 5 times even though it started taking over in 2003, it was still only 3 hours. It was 5 nights a week. And guess what? It was Sunday through Thursdays when kids had school the next day. So Fridays and Saturday nights, when kids didn't have school the next day, they had Cartoon Network to themselves all night long. So I really like how it was done in 2003. Obviously, Friday nights would have been Cartoon Fridays, and then Saturdays would have been the Saturday Video Entertainment System block, which only lasted for 1 year in 2003. So that was the final year of the Powerhouse era, by the way. And then you get to 2004. Well, actually, before 2004, we still have more history here, because later in 2003, in October 2003, now the Wikipedia site has it wrong, but I checked the schedule archives. In October 2003, Adult Swim now lasts from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. 5 nights a week. So Adult Swim is still 5 nights a week. But guess what? Now it expanded its hours. The end time gets extended from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. So 2003, we got 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Adult Swim is now 6 hours long instead of 3 hours. So as you can see, even in late 2003, Adult Swim is starting to slowly take up more hours and stuff. So even though it's only 5 nights a week, it no longer ends at 2 a.m. It now ends at 5 a.m., but it still starts at 11 p.m. And then we get to 2004, and they didn't mention this in the article, but yeah, it's not in the article, but is it here? No. But in 2004, I think it was March 2004. I'm not mistaken, but sometime in 2004, Adult Swim became 6 nights a week. So it got the Saturday night slot back after Saturday Video Entertainment System got canceled. The Adult Swim regained the Saturday nighttime slot. So in 2004, Adult Swim is now 6 nights a week. That was obviously the same year the Cartoon Network City era began and the logo became abbreviated. That was the same year. And then you get to 2005. So in March 2005, Turner Broadcasting System began recording Adult Swim separately from Cartoon Network for demographic purposes. Okay, I just read it's April 17th, 2004. That's when Adult Swim regained Saturday nights, making Friday the only night Adult Swim did not air. Okay, so it was April 2004. So, April 17th, 2004. On March 18th, 2005, Adult Swim gained an extra hour, now ending at 6 a.m. So, here we go. Now Adult Swim is now 6 nights a week from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. And then on October 2nd, 2005, Adult Swim regains the 10 p.m. hour. So, I repeat, on October 2nd, 2005, Adult Swim regained the 10 p.m. hour, but only on Sundays now. Only on Sundays. But Mondays to Thursdays and Saturdays, Adult Swim still starts at 11 p.m. So you heard that now. So as you can see, throughout 2004 and 2005, the end time gets pushed. It gains an extra day, and the end time gets pushed. And the start time gets pushed an earlier hour. Let's see here. Beginning on March 27th, 2006, Adult Swim's time began at 10:30 p.m. Eastern on weekdays. So now, here we go. So now Adult Swim no longer starts at 11 p.m. So since 2006, it now starts at 10:30 p.m. Eastern on weekdays. And I believe Sundays was still 10 p.m. And then in 2007, guess what happens in 2007? Now, I'm assuming this is after Fridays comes to an end. The Cartoon Network Fridays block comes to an end. Adult Swim became 7 nights a week in 2007. You heard it here, y'all. Since 2007, that was the same year the City/Yes era came to an end, and then the seasonal eras begin with the summer 2007 and the fall. The fall is something that grown-ups invented era, 2007. We don't talk about that era. That's the same year Fried Dynamite and all that started, and Al Jimmy's Head. But 2007, this is when Adult Swim becomes 7 nights a week. And at this point, it's apparent that Adult Swim is beginning to take over a little too much of Cartoon Network. By this point, there were no more nights for kids where Cartoon Network could go all the way past midnight. And it hasn't been that way ever since. Hard to believe this was 16 years ago, folks. And then on December 29th, 2008, Adult Swim moves its start time from 10:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Although since 2005, I believe, was it 2005? Yeah, since 2005, late 2005, only Sundays was always 10 p.m., but the other days were 11 p.m. And then 2006, those days got moved to 10:30 p.m. But in 2008, the 10 p.m. time slot becomes permanent, all 7 nights a week, all the way till 6 a.m. And then on December 27th, 2010, Adult Swim moves its start time to 9 p.m. Eastern. Here we go. And guess what? On March 31st, 2014, Adult Swim start time gets moved up to 8 p.m. Eastern. And there you have it, folks. I'm going to stop right there. But there goes the history of Adult Swim taking over Cartoon Network year after year after year. Although it took 9 years for it to happen again. But between 2003 and 2014, it just kept slowly gaining extra hours, and it kept gaining extra days a week. And I'm just here to tell y'all that even though the reasons for Adult Swim taking over the 7 p.m. slot and in the 6 p.m. slot later this year, even if the reasons may be different compared to back then, the bottom line is that over the years, Adult Swim has been taking over Cartoon Network. And before you know it, you're going to have a Toon Disney Jetix scenario. Remember, throughout the mid-2000s, the mid to late 2000s, Jetix took over Toon Disney. And then what happened? Disney XD was created to merge the two. And honestly, with the way cable is now, and you look at how cable is now and what streaming services have become, it wouldn't surprise me if the Cartoon Network brand still exists, but it's no longer a network on cable. That wouldn't surprise me. And then maybe Adult Swim eventually changes its name. It still has the same animation, same cartoons and stuff. Who knows? But at the end of the day, you all, this is not a knock against Adult Swim. It's more of a knock against Cartoon Network. And to me, although I've always liked Adult Swim, it's just that, you know, obviously, I'm sure a lot of parents back in the day shouldn't have let their kids watch any Adult Swim content, because obviously it's for adults. It's mostly TV 14 and TVMA content that's really only for teenagers and up, or 18 up. Teenagers and up or 18 up, basically. So, you know, nothing against Adult Swim, obviously. There's plenty of shows and anime over the years on Adult Swim I've enjoyed. It's just that if you're a kid, back in the day, for those who watched Cartoon Network back in the early 2000s, when Adult Swim was hardly around, you had more Cartoon Network to yourself. And it's quite surreal that if you look at a network, Adult Swim, that used to be only 2 nights a week for only 3 hours, from either 10 to 1 or 11 to 2 p.m. to a.m. And then you look at what it's become today, and it's about to be 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., 7 nights a week. It's incredible, y'all. It's incredible. But anyways, that's all I have, you all. And I hope you got a little different perspective on my personal thoughts on Adult Swim gaining the 7 p.m. hour and the 6 p.m. hour. And you all take care. Peace.